Elm Logistics. For all your logistic needs, call 631-299-3595. That's 631-299-3595. Elm Global Logistics. Pride, performance, and partnerships.
The Monty and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
We went there, and God, he treated us so great. And then at the end of the night, we're doing upside down tequila shooters. While he finishes telling that story, I walk off the deck, and I got like my daughters there, and my girl, my wife, Paige McMahon. My wife's first name is Paige. Her
Last name McMahon.
McMahon. When Jericho heard that, he spit the beer out of, not the beer, but the water out of his mouth. He went, "What?" It was classic. But I walk downstairs and I come back with a picture, and I go, "You mean this bottle of tequila?" And I show him the picture. And, oh, he popped. He popped.
Dallas, let me ask you a question. I want to reel you back a little bit because, you mentioned how you were supporting the boys, and I totally get that. But you also had a very close relationship with Eric Bischoff, right, who's running the show. So,
well, he's not in the beginning. Not in the beginning. I didn't have a close relationship with him.
Well, let me hit you with this two-pronged question. Number one, you said you left $486,000 on the table. Does Kimberly start screaming at you, like, what are you doing, number one? And wait, hold on. Number two, you do build a relationship with Bischoff. Was he trying to get the WWE out of business? And were you like, hey, bro, come on, let's just try to make our own way around here?
Well, let's answer the first part first. First of all, Bischoff and I were not tight when I met him. I met in a pull-apart fight that got pulled apart, and my Pat Tanaka and Paul Diamond, and I got a great picture of that. This is the very first time I ever showed up in the AWA. I just saw this picture when I was looking for a picture of Luke. This is like the first day in the AWA. Oh. And the only reason I know it's the first day because that blonde was only the Diamond Doll once. Her name was Leanne. And that's the only reason I know it's the first day. But Pat and Paul like pushed me out. What the hell are you doing? He's off this. And later that night, went to the diner and shit. So I'm kind of sober, get off the elevator with Pat and Paul, and he's there again, Bischoff, and he starts in on me again. They're like, go to your room. And I waited to see what room he was walking in. All right, we go to my room. Cooler heads prevail, right? Next morning, I wake up. I want to go bang on his door and see how tough he is right now. Because I was very irritated by that whole thing. And as I'm walking to the door, putting on my T-shirt, I hear, and I think it's, of course, it's the maid. And I open the door, and it's him. And this is who Eric Bischoff is. Like, at his root, at his soul, he's one of the realest cats I have ever known. He says to me, I heard I was a real asshole last night. I'm sure he remembers this differently, but this is how it happened as far as I'm concerned. And I said, yeah, you were. As a matter of fact, I was just on your room to see you. And Bischoff says, I saved you the walk. And he says, and this is the character of Eric Bischoff. He says, there's two ways we can handle this. One, well, accept my apology and shake my hand. Two, and he pulled his front three teeth out. Because he'd been fighting since he was little. And he was like a third-degree black belt. And this cat wasn't afraid of anybody. He pulled his teeth out of his mouth, and he said, punch me in the mouth. Whatever you think is fair, I'm good with it. And I popped. I've been running clubs at this time since I was 23 and I'm 31 at the time. I've heard every fucking excuse you can hear to get back into a club. But I never heard that one. I said, dude, I'd much rather shake your hand. And that was that. And then later he would come to WCW, and Dusty heard that Jim Herd was bringing in this young guy from the AWA. And they needed a new facelift, for the smaller operations, the syndicated stuff, and going to give him a shot. And Dusty's like, do you remember him? I go, the name sounds familiar, but I don't remember him. And then he's really late, and I got to go do TV. And when he gets to CNN Tower, like, I'm really late, but we got to do this tryout. And as soon as he walks in the door, even though he looks like a Ken doll now, like when he knocked on my door, his hair was down to his shoulders. It was silver. He was wearing a leather jacket. Like, he was rode hard and put away wet. That's the way he was when he came to my door. Bottom line is, this time he looks like a damn Ken doll. He looks like a model. Got the short black hair. He looks handsome hell. But I recognize his eyes. And as soon as he walks in, I'm like, hey, man, didn't even have to say anything. We didn't have any time. I said, great to see you, man. Listen, we got to get in the booth. We got to knock this out. So I said, let's play this. Maybe it's a 6-minute match. And we got done. And Dusty had said to me, make sure he does play-by-play. And, of course, you do the color. He said, if you like him, help him out. If you don't, let him just bury himself. I said, okay. So we get done with that task. And I looked at him. I said, so let me ask you a question. He said, sure. I said, how bad do you need this job? He goes, bad. I shit the bed in New York that Vince ain't ever done. He said, our wife is pregnant with our second kid. I need this job. I said, okay, so this is what Dusty told me. You do the play-by-play because you're doing color with me here. I'll do the color. Let's do it again. A minute into it, I said, stop the tape. I said, you don't know how to do play-by-play, do you? He said, that's not what we did up there. Like, we talked about the match and the guys. And I said, okay, here's the deal. Play the tape. Start beginning again. All right, collar and elbow lockup. Boom, pulls him into a headlock. No, he goes, takes it up the top wrist lock. Oh, big elbow. Boom. Guy takes a bump out the floor. Now, hold on. This is what he's doing. He's clearing his head. I'll fill in the color. Let's try it. He nails it perfect. I go to the next phase. I do that. And it's much longer talking stuff. He nails it. Finally, we get done with it, probably about 6 times going through it, I go, I think he's ready. Let's give it a shot. And he goes, hold on a second. Can I ask you a question? I said, yeah. He goes, do you remember me? I said, yeah, you're the guy I almost got in a fight with in the AWA. He goes, wow. Just checking. Like, he thought he was toast. Because a lot of guys in all businesses, but especially ours, when you're down below and that guy fucking beats you down, when you get above, you beat him down. That's not who I am, though. And I never change who I am because of the way other people act. So that was the beginning of a relationship with me and Bischoff that would last a lifetime. I mean, Dusty Rhodes' wife, Michelle, Cody's mom, she sold me a house on one side of the street. She didn't even know, because Atlanta's so big, she didn't realize she sold one to him and me on opposite sides of the street within a week of each other. Like, we were supposed to be together and at the ultimate bottom of everything. So the relationship with me and Bischoff is real. Now, when he put me in the Hall of Fame, he told people that being his friend was not an advantage when it came to making money. He gave me a job because when I was working with Bill Watts, when I tore my rotator cuff after 9 months of work in the ring, he said I knew he was going to let me go. So I just told him, I'm going to let myself go before you let me go, Bill.